of Tiamat, Dungeons and Dragons. Took a week off for vacation stuff last week, and looks like my head is not being shown appropriately. That is weird. Maybe that's just... Hold on a second. Okay, it's fine. That was just my browser. So yeah, took a week off last week for vacation. Now I'm back. Some players had some personal stuff come up recently. So, and Kovis has to go to work in a couple hours. So this one's going to be a short session. Probably just be handling some downtime activities and some... and just side business thing and campaign planning stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And give me a second to post my links and then we can get started. We could do a recap, but I think I'd like to save that for next time.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop. There we go. All right. Rise of Tiamat's up. Pull up my notes. How's everybody doing today?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
TV. Do. Got my dashboard. Here's my notes.
Dang, you've been playing Horde of the Dragon Queen or Rise of Tiamat for about a year now, haven't we?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Awesome.
Love this group. It's great.
Same.
Cool. Stark said he might be joining us, but he's recovering from back surgery, so he might not be.
He had a bit of a rough day yesterday, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If he's able to come, I mean, I don't think we're doing anything too terribly important, so I just want to make sure nobody misses out on the good stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to hang out with you guys since I haven't done that in about a week because the internet connection down there was not great.
Did you guys have a fun vacation?
Oh, yeah. We just laid around on the beach, went to the zoo, played a bunch of Hearthstone since that doesn't require a real awesome internet connection.
Sure.
Been checking out the new new to me Battlegrounds and pretty new Mercenaries modes.
Gotcha.
So Battlegrounds is similar to Storybook Brawl, but Mercenaries is kind of like a little card battler single player thing. I guess it's not a card battler. You have mercenaries and they do all the stuff. So
That sounds pretty cool.
Yep, that's free, so feel free to check that out. But anyways, let me open up my Discord and pull up a list of things that we might want to talk about. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So I posted a list of the current clocks that were available for things that you've told me that you would like to do stuff with. Let's see. We still have a ship mission to send this guy on. I think, Kobus, I asked you to come up with some ship NPCs, preferably like a captain at least, and just talk about the type of crew that it might be. I can't remember if we've decided that. If we did, I've completely forgot because it was too long ago. So we've got a Mercenary Company Lieutenant NPC that Doug was going to make, and they're going to be working on forming the Mercenary Company, probably with Ugg and Ia's help, maybe. I'd like to come up with some cool things to tempt Astor with, or maybe come up with some ideas what happens when that corruption meter finally fills up.
Cool things to tempt Aster with.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be much because like she's just like, yeah, I'll sell part of my soul for a little bit of warmth, just so I don't. You could just put on a winter coat. Nah, this is easier.
A super fancy, valuable tail weapon. I don't know what she calls it. Like an upgrade for what she has, or maybe a +1 tail weapon.
Nice.
I think she has the
Sword of Wounding or something.
Sword of Wounding, yeah. Oh, are you okay if she uses the stat block for the Great Axe instead of the Great Sword?
Yeah, that's fine. 100%.
I figured it would be, but I think she would probably enjoy seeing the bigger numbers rather than the average of 2d6.
That's fine. A little bit more swingy highs and lows.
Yeah, well, she loves to swing it.
That's what I liked about. That's one thing I miss about the 3rd edition is like the different crit modifiers, like the different threat ranges and the different crit multipliers. I thought that was cool. So like the Great Axe had a ×3 multiplier, but like a rapier crit on a 18, 19, or 20 or something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's a more granular system, and that's probably why they did away with it. But I really liked the aspect of having being able to make a build that revolves around crit fishing or taking feats or whatever that would expand that, and I thought that was cool. Really only like 2 things in 5th edition that I think expand your crit range outside of items. It's like the one fighter champion subclass feature and the Hexblade feature.
But cool. I might talk a little bit more about like the module itself and where it's going. Just give kind of a broad overview, and we can say what parts we're interested in and what parts we just want to skip.
Okay.
And then we have a couple of kind of important NPCs, I would call them, retired characters, Iya, Ugg, Karen, and Gulliver. We could talk about what they might be up to. What's Talus the White up to? Do Cyanrath and Frulum Moondoth return later in the story, or is that just the end of their story arc? So all kinds of fun stuff to chat about if anybody is interested in any of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. All of it sounds great. Oh, and the pseudo dragons.
Yeah, Kaylee told me a little bit about her plans. You want to talk about them here?
Yeah, sure. So I basically plan to make pseudo Tiamat. I'm not. To be clear, I'm not going to infuse the pseudo dragons with any kind of energy from Tiamat or any kind of evil magic. But basically, I'm gonna try to find one pseudo dragon of each of the 5 chromatic colors, and then merge them into one dragon with 5 heads. One pseudo dragon with 5 heads, rather.
Nice.
A pseudo Tiamat.
Indeed.
Do they have pseudo dragons of the metallic variety?
Well, usually in D&D they don't even have colors. They're all just like a brownish red.
I see.
Yep. So
say if you found pseudo dragons of the metallic variety, you could make a mini Bahamut Tiamat. I know Bahamut doesn't have 5 heads, but
you can still do it. Forge them all into a platinum pseudo dragon.
We'll turn this into a Pokemon adjacent thing.
Heck yeah!
But I think that's a really cool idea, Kaylee. I'm all on board for that.
I think the only one left you have to get really is the green dragon.
And then I can just send a message to Shadow, and he'll be like, "Power! Heck yeah!
Power!" But like, what if you did take some of the energy from Tiamat? I'm not saying it's a bad idea.
I mean, Aster knows a guy.
It might be an evil idea, but it would be an interesting idea.
I'm sure Lord Volmer would be happy to help with that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
What would the pros and cons of that be? Because I don't really see any good outcome to that situation.
Well, the pro is that he would fuse them all into a 5-headed monster for you.
Yeah, and some of the pros would be, I'm sure something interesting will happen from that. I might not be able to come up with it right off the bat, but the pseudo-dragon would definitely be more powerful. And
Maybe have more than 5 hit points.
yeah, it'd definitely have more than 5 hit points. And it would stop being a familiar and be more like a hunter's pet, I would think.
Like an ally?
Yeah.
I think that's really cool if you got like a pseudo class feature where you could order it as like a bonus action or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you could use it during combat to do stuff.
And just as a voice of reason here, maybe keep it away from heavy populated areas.
Well, you just need some sort of magical void prison that you can send it to if it becomes naughty.
Oh, there you go.
No, I already have something like that, so
Nice.
check that off the list. But
I
yeah,
don't think Lightbringer would be too happy with that, to be honest.
you guys will be probably going into the Misty Forest that has some green dragons terrorizing some elves. So probably find a green pseudo dragon while we're handling that part of the story arc.
Nice.
Or you could send the ship out to go find you one.
Nah. It's mostly, honestly, just kind of a funny side goal. I'm not trying to make this pseudo dragon like a mega powerful 5 breath weapons that deal 8d6 damage. Like,
That's probably for the best.
I think it would be really funny if they had 5 breath weapons, but they only did like a d4 or a d6 damage each. So it's kind of pointless, but really funny.
Fun. Or we get the 5-headed pseudo dragon, and then you go on a quest to Lightbringer to appeal to Bahamut to grant them superpower or whatever, and then we use that to fight Tiamat. And then once we've defeated Tiamat, the pseudo dragon turns on us and becomes the new Tiamat, and we're like,
Yay, we
start
did
from
it.
square one again. Talk about a Tiamat. Sorry.
Nice.
Tiamatception. I don't know how Tiamat would feel about a little mini-me running around.
Yeah.
Probably not great.
Maybe flattered, best case flattered, but probably not.
I would think extremely insulted that it was under the control of the band of adventurers seeking to overthrow her, and that it's more like a gimmicky mascot pet that we made as an insult,
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, Ek, have you seen to the end of season 2 of What We Do in the Shadows?
Not yet. We're working through it.
Never mind.
Just got done with the the episode where the sire got out. Good.
Okay.
I think that's my favorite episode so far this season.
That's season 3, right?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, I meant at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
There's a bit where they're on the stage and they're like reenacting all the stuff that happened, and they have like the actor playing Little Guillermo, who like comes out on the stage just waving their fists. That's what I was thinking of when I thought of Little Tiamat.
Nice.
But yeah, I think we're at about the same spot. Season 3 is bringing it, but not to completely derail the conversation.
That's okay. This session's already came pre-derailed.
There.
I ordered my session derailed.
Good news.
We got exactly what we wanted to. I like low-key sessions.
Comes with
now,
free
then.
shipping.
We do have a ship for that. But I'm afraid if we do free shipping, we're just going to start our business off in a hole. It's like, we had that promotion where we offered free shipping. We're a delivery company.
We were fools.
What do you mean we owe money? I don't understand.
We're delivering happy smiles to the people of the Sword Coast.
When Michael Scott took his side, or like quit Dunder Mifflin and made his side company, and they were just undercutting everything because they were just making a loss on every paper shipment that they had.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
And then, like Dunder Mifflin came to buy him out, and he held. He's a great salesman. Like he's a dingbat, but he's a great salesman, and he wound up turning like a big profit and getting their old jobs back.
Because he was undercutting their business so much at a loss that they were losing money, and it was a better deal for them to just buy them out.
Yep.
I'll just keep starting businesses. I have a million ideas. Like when they're at the accountant and he's explaining to them why they're losing money on delivery, and he's like, "That doesn't make any sense." He's like, "Crunch the numbers again." He's like, "It's a computer program.
It's a spreadsheet.
Just crunch them." It's a spreadsheet, and he presses a button. He's like, "Crunch."
Yep, still losing money.
Still losing money. Yep.
Run the numbers again. All right. So, the ship mission is something I definitely want to talk about today. That can do something like generate more coin for that abstract measure of the party's wealth. It can try to advance one of these other clocks, and based on that, we'll determine how many wedges it needs.
Let's see here. I'm looking at the clocks just to see what might be applicable if they worked on that. I mean, ship mission, forming mercenary company, building dock. The docks is that at our summer home?
That's at Neritar.
Okay.
I can change the name of that in my special thing.
We could send them out to get us information for releasing Suncaller or purifying Hazaran, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of building that up into its own thing to start, so maybe focusing on coin that we could use for something else.
Yep, and coin is one of those things that you can use that to advance clocks later, so it's a little more liquid. It's not as useful as doing a specific mission, but it gives you more variety. Mm-hmm. Then you can use coin for other things like bribing people and stuff like that.
I think using coin as an abstraction from Blades in the Dark is a really cool idea and helps streamline a lot of the minutiae of money counting.
Can I enlarge the clock, please? Maybe. Let's see. Sorry, somebody online asked me if I could enlarge the clock. Give me 1 second. No, not that.
Is this session 4 of Rise of Tiamat?
Yeah, I think it is. I need to change the title. Oh, no, I think it's session 3.
Oh, let's see here. Because I had session... Nah, I think this is session 4.
Okay.
If session 1 was Karen and Gully's wedding, then session 2 was the Green Dragon fight, and session 3 would have been last time when we were embarking on the journey. I just didn't date it. Not that it matters. I'm just looking for my notes here. Laruska Half-Face is our guide. Man, the glacier base of this white dragon is super cool.
There you go. Yeah. Edgar McAllister, welcome to the stream, and there's your enlarged clocks. If you're unfamiliar with that concept, it's a mechanic in Blades in the Dark, and basically a clock is any kind of goal or something that you want to progress or achieve. And sometimes there's good clocks, sometimes there's bad clocks, and the players can try to advance them or unfill them as they want. So there's a black dragon that's very close to their Castle Neritar, and they have peace with it, but it's a black dragon, and this clock is slowly going to tick up unless they spend effort to appease this black dragon. So that's one of the things they might want to work on.
Something I'm sure we could also use coin for.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, we just need to buy ourselves like 10 more levels worth of time. Another 2 years in real life.
You guys could probably let's see. What level are you guys now? 8?
Yeah.
I'm thinking you guys could do it at a level 11 would be pretty safe.
Maybe we'll invest some time into finding items or relics that might further our chances.
Yeah, you could start. You could send a ship mission out on trying to find some dragon slaying artifacts or something like that.
I mean, that sounds universally applicable to what we're doing.
Doesn't it?
General information, or even just the location of a future adventure where we could go and unearth something of use.
Mm-hmm.
And also tell everyone how great we are while you're there. I feel like Yuri just has this built-in Lord Voldemort complex where anytime someone says his name across the world, he gets a little tingle.
And just talking to Edgar here, he says this is a mechanic other GMs do with notes on their screens, actually codified. Yeah, it's really cool. And the neat part about it is I feel like it's short and sweet enough that it helps players to achieve their goals during downtime, and they have this concrete example of how much progress they need to fill in. And another cool thing about downtime activities in Blades in the Dark is even a failure still results in one wedge getting filled in. So for D&D, I've adapted it to say different clocks might have different DCs to progress. Like the ship mission's pretty easy. They have a ship. There's no kind of pirates or anything that are terrorizing the seas right now. So DC might be something like 12. They need to roll a DC, but even if they got like a 5, if they spent their downtime activity on that, then it would fill in one wedge. A success would fill in 2, and like a really good success would fill in 3. And then they can use coin, that abstract measure of wealth, to also add another wedge into the mix. So on a really great roll and spending some coin, you can fill some of these smaller clocks in pretty quickly.
Definitely. It's a very cool system.
Yeah, it's a very elegant mechanic that I've stolen for all of my games that I run now.
An elegant mechanic for a more civilized age.
All right, so what kind of mission were you wanting to send your ship on?
Well, definitely. What do you think?
I don't really feel like there's any one specific clock that it feels appropriate to have them working towards right now. Aside, maybe for a mercenary company if they're going out looking for recruits, but that's not quite as interesting to me as maybe them going to look for information or something like that. What do you guys think?
I like that. Maybe they can go into head into one of the bigger cities to do a bit of multitasking of collecting information from Waterdeep or one of the others. And while they're there, maybe they try to collect information on good leads for mercenaries, good leads for good ways to kill dragons. Maybe they're just kind of a random generalized information, all the while their main mission being, I don't know, trading with the big city.
Okay. I like that. Would we be able to send the Mercenary Lieutenants with the ship on this occasion to help with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I have not decided who the main lieutenant for the mercenary thing is yet, so I'll probably leave that abstract for the time being. Although I do have Sophia Komarov waiting in the wings as a possible NPC or PC character. So maybe her background as an adventurous treasure seeker could... I feel like she would probably benefit maybe the ship aspect more than the mercenary company. But if they're out looking for treasure and stuff like that, maybe that's applicable to her background.
Kind of a relevant thought, too, is we have these extra NPCs that we've sort of put off in the background, like Ugg and Ilya. Maybe one of them we can task them to be in charge of one of either the ship or the docks or whatever.
That makes perfect sense, actually. Let's see here. I mean, I feel like Ugg is the shoe-in for heading up the mercenary stuff. That's kind of what he already does, so it's a good part.
He'd be decent for like martial training and stuff like that, but as for a leadership role, maybe
not.
Maybe not. He's got a really crappy, I think, int wisdom and charisma. So he's good at killing stuff, but directing.
He can be the old hat party overseer who's not the leader, but he's there to he's part of the old guard to keep an eye on stuff. He's support, but he's not the leader. I would not put Ia in charge of that because she has the charisma of a wet blanket. Because she is, in fact, a wet blanket. What do you think, Kaylee?
I think we should probably put Ugg in charge of training new recruits, like we said. But as for an actual leadership role, I think we might come up with another NPC for that, or...
Okay. Well, I'll continue to work on that, and I'll have something by next time.
Cool.
Do we have someone who's in charge of the ship and ship-related stuff? Because I imagine those are two separate entities. And they can work together. So there's like the mercenary company, which might move on the ship, or fleet of ships if we eventually expand it. But we probably need somebody who's good with trade and mercantile stuff.
So there was this NPC based off of Horace's Curse of Strahd character, Graham.
Oh, Graham!
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love that idea.
That's great.
I promise you, he's going to take a little off the side, though. He's going to be skimming off the top.
That's perfect. Good.
For his quote-unquote family.
Well, I'm sure Yuri, with his 8 intelligence, will pick up on that right away.
So, yeah, there were... If you want Graham to be the captain, I could totally see him being a shady merchant captain.
Yeah.
That was a thief, but has since been... I'll use my finger quotes, reformed. Basically, he's a privateer, which is just legalized piracy for the enemies of the different members of the Lord's Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
I love this idea.
Yeah. I also like, having someone who's straddling that line a little bit more because it leaves options open for us as players later on. So
yeah.
Toe that line as well.
Man, I can't do anything evil. Hey, Graham, go do this evil thing for me.
Already done.
Well, it's not evil. It's, evil in the pursuit of good, which is more like... That cancels out, right?
Hey, you're preaching to the choir, man. You don't have to convince me.
Horace, for everyone who's not familiar with Graham, would you be able to give just a little blow-by-blow explanation of that fun tie-in?
Oh, my goodness. He was raised with a group of strictly smaller humanoid types, like kobolds, very much gnomes, yeah, goblins. The big boss, the godfather of the whole mafia thing, is a big fat dwarf, and they all have like nicknames like Graham, Kilo. All the measurements.
So good.
and they come from their main base is like in a cave where there's like this bioluminescent fungus that grows around to kind of light the whole home. And he's very much all attitude. He's got a lot to prove, but
definitely talks the talk.
Yeah. Very much the not exactly the muscle, but more of the con man, I guess, the thief.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
Go ahead and take yourself an inspiration for that, sir.
Oh, thank you, man.
Well earned.
That was definitely one of my favorite characters.
I remember sending him into like a friendly mayor's house to go steal something.
Yeah,
because my character didn't like your character. It's like, yeah, go do that. This will just get him arrested and out of my hair for a little while.
I was only too happy to do it.
And he went in, like rolled a nat 20. He's like, yep, there you go.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So good.
Then I tried to shake down Strahd because he inconvenienced us.
Why?
That's great.
Why?
He had a bit of bravado. just a touch.
So, oh my god, that
I don't think Kit knew what to do when I shook down Strahd.
I think it was breezed past it because Strahd's like this little guy. What? Yeah. I applaud the bravery.
So, do you think Graham might be a member of the Gentarium? They are let's see if I can find some information on them. Did I do anything in the faction guide? The Zentarium is an unscrupulous shadow network that seeks to expand its influence and power throughout Faerun. The organization is ambitious, opportunistic, and meritocratic. So it's a meritocracy where if you are good at what you do, then you get recognized for it. Rogues and warlocks of neutral and or evil alignments are commonly drawn to the Zentarium. The goals are to amass wealth, look for opportunities to seize power, gain influence over important people and organizations, and dominate Faerun.
I mean, that definitely fits. I think, I think that fits really well.
Beliefs: the Zentarium is your family. You watch out for it, and it watches out for you. You are the master of your own destiny. Never be less than what you deserve to be. Everything and everyone has a price.
Seems pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be, since this is an NPC, we'll probably make him a rank 2 member of the Zentarium.
Nice.
Graham. That's funny because my Kaylee's name for her grandmother is Graham, so that's just even extra cool. Graham.
Is she an accomplished businesswoman?
She was a real estate agent.
Oh, perfect.
Don't get the feeling she was on the shady side of things, though.
That you know of.
That I know of. The long con. What was the name of our ship? Dawnbringer?
That sounds close.
Dawn something.
My notes. Would you know that? Let me go back to my Horde of the Dragon Queen notes.
Yeah, I might have it.
It's either Dawnbringer or Dawnbreaker, maybe?
Dawnbreaker sounds right.
Why are we breaking the dawn? Why did you break it? Oh no.
Well, it's the dawn breaks.
I swear we're trying to fix it.
She'll be captain of the Dawn Mumbles.
The Dawn.
I'm looking. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't have it written down.
Ooh, is it in session NPCs? Was I smart past deck? Party inventory and loot, maybe? Nope. Nope. Let's see. Session NPCs.
I mean, maybe we hired a bad painting calligrapher to write it on the side of the boat, and the second half of Dawn is just like so intricately done that nobody can really tell what it says.
Hey, Don. Hey, ship.
The Dawn. The Dawn.
I'll go back and watch some videos and figure that out. But not super
like
important for right this second.
Mm-hmm.
You say Dawnbreaker.
That sounds right. It feels familiar.
Sounds more accurate than Dawnbringer.
I think Dawnbringer may have been a magic item.
Oh, is that the sword in Strahd?
Maybe so.
The Sun Sword?
The sun sword, the sentient one that Kent was like, I don't want to be a sentient sword, it's a jerk, so...
Oh, it's sentient?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm playing Curse of Strahd right now.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
That's alright.
That's fine. That's cool, though.
Oh, I'm the worst.
You're not the worst. I've already theorized basically the entire plot of the campaign, and the DM seems to be confirming it, so...
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
All right. Move this over here so I can read Allie's message. Oh, that was Doug's message. No, you're fine, Doug. All right. So we've got a captain. And the mission you said you wanted Graham to start working on was...
So, like, I think since we're going with the Graham thing, let's do, how you guys feel about, like, the front being mainly trade, but really they're kind of our espionage, information seeker when they go to, like, the big cities and wherever they're tasked to go.
Yeah, that's 100% fine.
Does that sound good, Doug and Kaylee?
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
So are you trying to gather some information, or are you making coin this trip?
Yes.
Well, when it fills up, do you want a coin in your pocket, or do you want to advance, like, are you wanting to look for more mercenary stuff? Or like if you can't make up your mind, then probably coin is the best, because then you can just use that to grease the wheels and get another.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think coin sounds the most appropriate for just starting out, and then once we collectively have a more concrete direction that we want to point them in, we can do that. But we're at least making progress in something that'll be useful.
Sounds good.
All right. What skill would you like to use to try and make money?
Is this going to be rolled? Who's rolling this?
It doesn't matter. It's like the best one in the party can roll it.
I'd say maybe performance or persuasion.
If we're doing, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying that makes sense if they're trying to do it like normal business, but if they were doing it as more privateers, if they were accosting pirates or something like that, it might be something different. But maybe starting off with something a little bit more diplomatic makes sense.
Yeah, who's going to be is Graham doing the talking?
Yeah, I think Graham would be the one that would be making the roll, but since we don't have a sheet for Graham, then just like the best person in the party can do it.
I'll check what mine is.
I have a performance and persuasion of +6.
I have a persuasion of +7.
Ooh.
Nice. I think you got it.
Yeah.
So normally I'd say the DC would be 12, but since Graham's skimming a little off the top, we'll say 14.
All right.
Our
Wow.
profits.
He believes in aggressive haggling.
Wait, I thought you said we were starting off with something more diplomatic, like we weren't.
That's why you're doing persuasion.
Yep.
Gotcha.
But he's still skimming off the top.
Yeah.
I see. Can I let that?
You can, but since this is the short session, then it would take away a luck from next session.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
All right.
There we go. That's a little bit.
Ooh, there we go. So here we go.
Thank you, Kaylee.
So normally we're going to ship mission, make coin. So normally you get one for a failure, one for excess, and then you beat it by 5. You beat it by 10. That fills up the clock immediately. So you guys get 1 coin.
Nice.
Worth it.
Heck yeah.
Graham's like, I can't even reach the top to skim. Skim off the side of the bottom of the pile.
Cool. So yep.
He'll come back to report. Hey, we did okay. It wasn't great, you know.
Just got this pile of coin for you. Very nice. Yeah, so kind of my D&D rules for this are set a DC, and if you beat the roll, you get 2 ticks on the clock. So if you fail the roll, you'll get 1 tick. If you beat it, you get 2. And beat it 5. For each 5 or more, you fill in another wedge. So got a 24, so shablamo.
2 raises, if you will.
Nice.
Mm.
So just like seeing the little character avatars pop up with the talking mouths. It's fun.
All right, so we've got ourselves a ship captain, Graham. We coin. Edgar's asking, do we have an analogy for fumbles in that system? Not really. Like Blades in the Dark is all about moving the story forward. So when you fail, they don't like to have just nothing happen, and it's good to set up the failure criteria ahead of time. So how do they do it? So like if you're fighting someone and there's a concept of different positions. Risky is the standard default. Controlled is like you're in control of a situation, and desperate, you're fighting for your life. And so the consequences of those actions vary. On risky, you'll get hurt a little bit. Controlled, you can either abort or take like a tiny bit of damage. And desperate, something bad happens, you could take like a really serious complication or something like that, or some serious damage. And let's see. There's not really the concept of fumbles, but what can happen is you can mess up a roll so that some of the consequences will worsen the situation. So if you were in a risky situation, you're fighting a guy in an alleyway, but you roll poorly, one of the consequences might be, if you fail this roll, then he disarms you, and now you're going to be moving into a desperate situation because you were in a sword fight, and now you're in a fist fight while he still has a sword. But there's other ways to resist the... You can spend stress to like resist any consequence you don't want. You'd be like, nope, I don't want that consequence, so I'll spend some of my stress resource. But it's pretty cool. But for downtime activities, gathering information, and I think one other thing, even a failure will give you some stuff, because what they don't want to happen is, hey, everybody make a perception roll to see if you find the clue for the mystery, and everybody fails. Okay, roll again. Everybody fails. All right, we've kind of stalled out here. So when gathering information, you'll get some information even on a failure, but for success, you'll get even more. So that was another thing that I like to steal from Blades in the Dark.
I think you've done a very good job of incorporating that that concept into other game systems, and I've definitely tried to incorporate it into what I do based on you introducing that to me, to just make sure that something always happens even if the roll fails. Because I definitely used to be in that camp of, oh well, you failed, so what do you try now?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think that's all the ship business that I wanted to deal with. Does anybody else want to explore anything else there?
I think you got it covered.
Yeah, nothing I can think of.
Sounds good.
Cool. Mission accomplished.
About how long do ship missions take? Like, does it depend on the mission, or?
Yeah, it's like anytime we're gonna have some downtime. Like, I figure we'll have a round of downtime activity after every little side thing that you guys are, or main thing that you're doing. So we're going out to track down Orathator in his lair and talk to or defeat the spell-casting white dragon. So that's an adventure we're going on. When we come back, I'd like to do another round of downtime activities. So it's just kind of loose, but it takes as long as it takes. Since Graham rolled really well, apparently let's see, what happened with Graham? I think he probably did a little smuggling on the side. Like, he was doing some sort of shipment. Maybe you guys made deals with some of the merchants that you dealt with on that big caravan trip up the Sword Coast. The one guy you framed up had all these silks, so maybe he found a buyer for that and offloaded those. Or maybe he ran some sort of smuggling operation where he's smuggling some illicit booze into different cities.
I like the idea of profiting off of that jerk textile salesman who was
definitely
abusing our favorite girl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of got his last we saw when he disappeared into the portable hole.
Never to be seen or heard from again.
Handed him over to the cultists. But it was in the pursuit of good. You know, our cover. Kyla's cover.
Mm-hmm.
Good intentions.
It's all about the greater good.
Listen, he abused animals. That's not cool.
That's a deal breaker.
I agree.
So, let's see. Did you have somebody in mind for the Mercenary Company Lieutenant NPC yet? Or is that something you want to take offline and think about?
That was what I was talking about earlier. I hadn't come up with a concrete character that I'd settled on yet, but ones that I already had made, like Sophia Komarov, Nikolai Komarov's granddaughter, who I built as an arcane trickster rogue to be sort of like an Indiana Jones style rapscallion explorer for magical artifacts type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that probably ties into the ship aspect rather than the mercenary company aspect, but it could be a bit of both.
I have some NPCs as well if we need them, but if Doug wants to do it, that's fine.
Nice.
If you have cool ideas, please, by all means, pitch them.
Yeah, I'll probably type them out later, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. And if we have a stable of cool NPCs, it's not like we can't use all of them.
Daggum right.
But yeah, I think for right now, Ugg is like the non-leader backbone of the mercenaries, who's sort of making sure everything happens, but he's not as involved and doesn't care quite as much.
All right. Next on the list, we have Astor, who has agreed to do some bad stuff for... Not really bad stuff. Agreed to do some tasks for Lord Volmer.
Bad stuff.
He engraved a rune on her little tail sword, and he just wants her to get the killing blow on 20 sentient creatures and 1 powerful creature. And in exchange for that, she was able to just generate heat. So she became the new best friend of everybody when we were heading up into the Sea of Moving Ice, because it was cold, brutally cold. So I don't think I need anything amazing to tempt Astor with. I think she's just happy to go along with that.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I think Allie as a PC is going to be on board with whatever gets put. She's probably taking closer to a Lazarus approach, in that whatever is presented is going to be good story fodder, and she's just going to lean into it.
Sure, I could go for a sandwich. That'd be good.
Yeah. Going to be like the best sandwich. How about an infinite sandwich? You take a bite out of it, and then it just grows back.
That would be so cool.
Pocket dimension sandwich. Very useful.
Yeah, that like it not to be too game-breakingly powerful. Like a magic sandwich is a perfect example.
Being too game-breakingly powerful.
No, of something that would be 100% fine in the campaign.
Yeah.
We could go for some in-game power, but I just want to be careful with power creep, because with bound accuracy as a big tenet of the 5e system, then getting +1s and +2s is pretty significant.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'll speak on Allie's behalf and say that she's far less concerned with something that is mechanically powerful than something that is narratively interesting. So, As an example, she wanted the Hat of Vermin more than anything else, just because it's fun to be able to pull out little rodents that do their best to run away from you as fast as possible. So,
oh my God, really, get away from me!
Really, you could have tempted her with the Hat of Vermin, and she would have made the deal.
Right. Okay.
So anything goofy or fun that doesn't completely break the tone is going to be good stuff.
Cool.
Ooh, a Cloak of Billowing.
Cloak of Billowing is good. Or like an improved Hat of Vermin, something like that.
Or maybe the Cloak of Billowing has some kind of like cool flaming effect.
Mm-hmm.
That was an item that Victor Steele got. Like the DM said, I don't feel like doing research to see what all you guys want. You can have anything up to like a +1 weapon for your characters. And I'm like, Cloak of Billowing, that's what I want. And basically what it does is you can spend a bonus action and it will billow out behind you dramatically.
Nice.
That's it.
That's it. Doesn't give you any bonus to defense or anything. It just whips in a wind, even if there's no wind.
Superhero.
Yeah, some of the common magic items are flavorful and fun and stupid. Let's see here. Yeah, anything that ties into the theme of her being a genie would probably be good.
Maybe like an improved lamp.
Oh, yeah, approved lamp. Make a note of that.
That's an idea. I could see her being like, "Oh no, this one's fine. I like this one." But the option is good.
Maybe the inside of the lamp is improved.
That's a very good one because it makes no difference to anyone but her.
like the furniture packs that you buy in Skyrim for your house.
Okay, yeah. That's great.
So, looks like Edgar's just curious about systems. He's not running anything.
Allie just typed she wants that sandwich.
I was just going to say that his favorite is definitely Shadowrun, so my hat's off to him. Shadowrun is one of those systems that is just super complex. They've streamlined it over the years, but anytime you're running a Shadowrun game, you're usually running 3 games, actually. You have, like, Meat Space, the physical realm. You have mages, and so you have the astral realm, and then you have the Matrix side of things, so you have the computer realm. And those systems, they try to make them similar, but they're... all the editions I've ever read, I haven't read the 5th or 6th edition. I don't even know if they're up that high. I haven't read like the most recent stuff. I read the reboot, but it's just very complex. And if you don't have players that are willing to do the work to learn those systems with you, then as a dungeon master, you have to learn a lot.
That was the biggest barrier for me. Like, I love the setting and I love the concept of the world and all that, but the book was just very dense, and it felt like you could accomplish very, very similar results by just using a different system and streamlining it a little bit.
Yeah.
Was that good?
The Blades in the Dark has a hack called Runners in the Shadows, which is a Shadowrun themed Blades in the Dark, and that's something that I'd like to check out and run one day, because I think that'll streamline a bunch of stuff.
Right. Did I ever tell you guys about the time that Allie accidentally invented Shadowrun?
That's cool.
Yeah, very, very brief story, but we were brainstorming ideas for our setting for the podcast that we do, RPG for You and Me. Check us out, Science Fantasy. And she was like, okay, but what if it's like the real world, Earth as it is now, but then like something happens and then the fantasy races start appearing and people like turn into the fantasy races. So it's like our world and it's futuristic and it's cyberpunk, but like it's got fantasy races too. And about like one sentence into this, I was just like, oh, it's Shadowrun. So I, didn't interrupt and I let her finish. And by the end, I was just kind of smiling and nodding. And she's like, why are you looking at me like that? But it was a great idea. And
it is a great idea.
To her.
And I met one of the minds behind that. Oh gosh, I'm gonna lose some BattleTech cred. Jordan Weissman, there we go. Inventor of BattleTech and Shadowrun. He used to work 2 seats down from me over at Harebrained Schemes, so that was cool.
Oh, he did BattleTech and Shadowrun.
Yeah, he's caught lightning in a bottle a few times in his career, so
that's pretty cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, as I'm sure he's an avid viewer, welcome to the stream and congratulations to you, sir.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's an old man like me, so he doesn't go in for all this Twitch nonsense. Cool. So, I like the luxurious accommodations and servants in her. Maybe he gives her the ability to grant minor wishes.
That could be cool. Like things that you could accomplish using things like prestidigitation.
Or like walking across the room to do yourself.
Yeah. What if she got the ability to cast Unseen Servant? As just like a cantrip. It's a level 1 spell that creates a an invisible servant that can only lift 10 pounds and do simple menial tasks.
Yeah, that's cool. Is that a level 1 spell? Maybe I could turn it into a cantrip so she could just do it all the time?
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's a level 1 spell, but if she got the ability to use it like a Warlock Invocation, for example, it doesn't seem like it's a powerful enough spell for that to be a balancing issue.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll send you a link to the blurb on the spell if you want. Horace, that gif of the peanut butter and jelly.
It took me a few tries, but my old butt finally figured it out.
Very good.
Well, that's in the D&D private channel, so I won't click on that on stream. Cool. All right, what else are we doing? Spell Unseen Servant. Spell creates an invisible, mindless, shapeless, medium force. Yeah, that's cool.
Command it as a bonus action to move up to 15 feet and interact with an object. Perform simple tasks that a human servant could do, such as fetching things, cleaning, mending, folding clothes, lighting fires, serving food, and pouring wine.
Oh boy.
And then once you give it the command, it continues to do that until you tell it otherwise.
That's awesome.
This tea tastes like hot chocolate.
All right, so we got some cool stuff to tempt Astor with now. Do you want to talk a little bit about the module and where the story is going? Basically what I would do is talk about the major acts of the story.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think, assuming this is talking about the different council meetings and stuff in the future, I think that while we were out the council meeting, we might have been informed of future plans with that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm cool with talking about general direction and things like that.
Absolutely.
And Horace, when do you have to take off? About 50 minutes?
A little after 2.
Okay.
Like quarter after 2, probably. That'll give me time to get dressed.
So basically there are there are 3 major council meetings. We've already gone through one of those. Gathering allies, I think. Oh wait, here we go. Sessions of the council. So the first session, we get to meet all the NPCs and everything. The second session, we've learned more about the Drakhorn and some other things that have been happening. At this point, I think the metallic dragons get involved. And there's a council of metallic dragons that you try to convince them. We were supposed to go kill Verum the White in this during this first session, but we already did that because I rewrote a couple of things. Mm-hmm. And so in the second session, we set up the Metallic Dragons Council meeting and helping out the elves with their problem with the green dragons. And third session, I haven't read too far into the future. Oh, looks like there's 4 sessions. And we don't have to do all these things. So if you guys didn't want to talk to a whole bunch of metallic dragons, we could just skip that.
I don't see a reality in which that doesn't happen. Sounds very cool. I really liked the last diplomacy one that we did.
Yeah.
And I know that we didn't really have an active role in trying to like convince them of stuff, and it was more based on things that we'd already done. But I thought that was a really cool way to mechanically tally some of our decisions and show how it was affecting the game world.
I 100% agree. That was, so far, that's probably one of my favorite features of this whole game.
Ooh, well, let's switch over there so people in chat know what the heck we're talking about. Where'd it go? GM only council session? I don't think so. So the council scorecard. So we've done different things for the council, and based on all the adventures and things that we did in the first module, Horde of the Dragon Queen, that affected how some of the people have viewed the players, or the PCs rather. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not right. That should be a 2. Oh wait, no, -1 down here. So the Harpers are all about information gathering and things like that, and we've been killing a lot of the higher ups instead of capturing them. So the Harpers aren't super happy with us right now, but most of the others are in a good spot. Let's see here. So yeah, the second session, we're setting up the Emerald Enclave, or dealing with King Melindrak and looking for his lost son, maybe. What else do we have? And in the third session, we do follow-up for those things. And what is this? Looks like have a mission to Thay. I don't know if you remember, like the Wizards of Thay have been helping the cult because they've been... There's a big section of them that got exiled from Thay when they were trying to rise up against the current undead masters of the Thay Council and things like that.
I remember their super powerful leader guy that we defeated in an epic battle.
Yuri kicked him, or you paralyzed him, then Yuri kicked him, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
He's a wizard. He has 2 hit points.
Yeah.
Well, Kyla's hold person just made it an auto crit.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. You guys knocking on the door and Resimir screaming, "Go away!" And then you just knock again.
I appreciate that you as the DM leaned into that moment and just let us have it, because it was pretty cool.
Yeah, you basically bypassed that encounter, but I knew there were more encounters to come, so
yeah,
it was fine to let you guys steamroll ambush Resimir.
I think you do a very good job of looking at the modules, seeing what tangible mechanical encounters it has set up, and altering things around so that it's not just like combat after combat or like slugfest after slugfest.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the quick encounters, or the resolution to try to break things up a little bit and also keep the pacing where it needs to be. I think you do a very good job of that.
Well, thank you, sir. And yeah, if I, as the DM, am starting to get bored with the combat, I can only imagine that the players are too, because I am like part of every single role and every single interaction, whereas players do something and then they have to watch and listen for 10 minutes and wait for their turn to come up again. So if I start feeling a little bit bored and the combat looks like it's going to be a foregone conclusion, I'm just like, I think here's a good spot to call it. You guys have it. Let's just take some resources off and move on.
Yeah. I don't think there's been a time where you chose to do that and it felt bad. So
cool. Well, if I do and you say no, I was about to do my penultimate mega combo, then I will definitely let you guys roll them dice.
Of course.
But yeah, so a few more council meetings. It looks like there's that mission to Thay. I'm not sure. I haven't read this to say whether or not it's going to be interesting or not. But this, I think the forest mission is a dungeon crawl, and then the diplomacy mission with the metallic dragons will be a fun role play session.
Mm.
And where'd my Rise of Tiamat go?
Conceptually, I really like the idea of our generally low intelligence party having to go talk to a group of extremely intelligent wizards.
Yeah, so the Red Wizards are integral to the cult's plans for summoning Tiamat, but the Red Wizards allied with the Cult of Dragon are exiles with no connection to Thay. The Thay and Red Wizards approach the Council of Waterdeep, asking for an envoy to be sent to Thay, where they must convince the most reviled wizards in Faerun to join the forces of the Sword Coast for the common good.
So, are all the wizards of Thay red wizards, or are they broken up into different color categories?
I think Red Wizards of Thay is just if you're a Wizard of Thay, you're a Red Wizard of Thay. I think. I don't know a bunch of the lore behind it, but they definitely have different members. Like there's they're broken up by magic school, and typically you'll have a rune of whichever school that you serve as your primary school as a tattoo on your forehead. So they're almost all shaved bald and have these arcane tattoos over their face. So you can usually recognize them.
Very cool.
I'm guessing the majority of them are evocation wizards.
They have wizards of all classes, of all specializations. I think the head wizard right now is a necromancer because he's a lich, and right now he's been in charge for a while now, and he's been he's only been promoting people into leadership roles if they're willing to give up their mortal shackle and become undead. So there's ghosts and banshees and vampires and all kinds of high-level undead stuff. That
sounds like a perfect place for a paladin.
Well,
so that lich leader's name, he is Nikolai Komarov's grandfather as well, right?
No relation.
The Komarov dynasty.
Except the fact that they are the same person. Technically not.
Dun, dun, dun.
All coming together.
Let's see. At the summit, information comes to the characters revealing that a senior member of the Cult of the Dragon seeks to defect from the group, and that the cultist is offering a dragon mask as part of his plea for aid. It could be a trap, but the council delegates believe that the risk is worth it. That sounds cool.
Yeah. It's a trap we're willing to go into regardless.
And we talk to the Zentarium. And looks like the fourth session is just follow-up. And then a big war between, now that you've found out where the Rise of Tiamat ritual is happening. And based on who you've made deals with and who you've done stuff with. That's something that the module I felt was lacking. Something that Pathfinder was always really great at is these other mechanics that they add to the game. The things like the Kingmaker module, where they have all these crazy detailed rules and systems for running a kingdom and building different districts and all this fun stuff, where there's no grand large scale combat system in place for Rise of Tiamat, and they just kind of hand wave it away as like, yeah, there's a fight happening while you go to the dungeon and try to stop the ritual from taking place. I think ultimately we want as players, we want that ritual to at least partially succeed so we can fight Tiamat.
Sure.
But we do want to, the characters probably want that not to happen, but I think we're going to, because you guys have done some stuff that have really put a dent in the cult's operations.
Woot woot, go team.
So that's kind of what I'm have planned for that. Do any of those things seem like you're not interested in? You want to just cut further towards the final punchline? Or did all that sound interesting?
That all sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think it all sounds really good. I'm happy to see where the story goes, and I trust you as the GM to help put some extra spice on anything that isn't super fun, and I'm sure we can work our way around that.
Cool. Oh, wow. First time chat from viewer. That's totally not a... How do I ban this?
5 followers and viewers on Big Follows. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to give them credit.
Sorry, what did you say? I had to go AFK for a second. First time what?
I got a spammer.
Harris.
How do I moderate that?
Yeah, kick him.
I'd like to, but I don't know how, because I'm a newbie. Quick actions. Edit stream info. Clip that. 60-second ad. Community. Alright, I need to figure out how to do this. How to ban followers on Twitch. Open stream window, click on the chat's rectangular message box. Type in /ban in the chat box, followed by the username. Okay.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Goodbye.
Get out of here.
All right. I think here's a good spot to take a little break. I'm going to run a ad break, and then we'll come back.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I are back.
Uh-oh. It said preparing 1 minute ad break. And I don't know if it ran or not. I don't know if it's going to happen in 6 minutes or what.
Did you figure it out, Ek? Did you get him?
Yeah, I got the guy banned. I just wish I had like a faster way to like click on him. So ads didn't run for you. Thanks, Edgar. I should have set up my wife's she worked on a few cool graphics for me.
Oh.
Need to set those up in my OBS studios.
Heck yeah.
So what time are you getting home tonight, Horace?
Probably between 11 and midnight.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a wedding.
cool. Is this any cool theme?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think this is going to be a pretty garden variety. They're going to have the ceremony in our art gallery, which is a really cool room. There's like one wall that is nothing but a curved glass of wall of windows,
Nice.
and then of course the other two walls are nothing but paintings. It's not a
Cool.
big room. You can fit like 80 people in there, so I don't think it's going to be a big crowd.
What's been your favorite wedding that you've run so far?
Oh man. There was I would say the most interesting. I wouldn't say it was my favorite. I actually worked during the day for it, but it was an African wedding,
Oh,
and they combined both African tradition and Christian traditions. And they had this interesting thing where they had a row of brides, and the husband had to pick out which one was his bride. Yeah, I mean it was obvious. Like it's like, yeah, I know of course I know who my bride is.
don't get that wrong.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I wonder if that's ever happened, right?
Were they wearing veils or anything?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were wearing veils.
I don't have
But
my
That
still-
makes more
glasses.
sense.
That'd be awful. But then, like they did this, the bride came in, and they were doing like the drums, the African drums, and they had like vocals going on. It was really cool music as they were dancing as they came in. Kind of neat.
Very cool.
It was a bit of a chaotic wedding, though. I mean, it didn't exactly coordinate as well as they could have. I felt bad for the people that closed it out because they stayed until like 1 a.m. or something like that.
Oof.
Yeah. That was definitely the most interesting. Very nice people. Those are fun to go to. Everybody's always positive, and it's a nice change.
Yeah, my wedding, we had a medieval-themed wedding. So I was in plate mail. My groomsmen were in, like, chainmail. We had tabards and swords, and
Nice.
Lori's dress looked all princessy and cool.
That's very cool, dude.
We did it at Union Station in Nashville. And so they have this big open lobby that goes from like the ground floor all the way up to like the 10th floor or however big it is, and like everybody, there's this balconies that come out, and like the rooms are right off of that, so we had people that were just coming out to stare and gawk at us.
That's awesome, man.
It was really cool. Welcome back, Doug. We'll get started here in a second. They set up the camera right next to this fountain. At the time, it wasn't like it was fine because like this fountain was going, and it was pretty, but my entire, like, all of the valves and everything, it just sounded like someone was taking a leak right next to the, like, you couldn't hear anything. All you could hear was this like steady, powerful stream of water hitting right next to the microphone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's great.
And then there was this random sound of,
and then like right towards the end, they cut it off. And so it was not a great video.
No.
Funny stuff.
Doug, I've been watching British Baking Company show, or whatever we call it.
Great British Baking Championship. That's such a wholesome, good show. I love it.
Yeah,
It is. This newest episode this week is German Week, and
Ooh.
one of the challengers is also German, and I can't help but think of Tej the entire time.
You know, I honestly think I might know who you're talking about because our friend showed us a clip from the show, and I know Allie has watched some iterations of it, although I don't think she's current. But
His name is Gunther, and it's almost the same type of personality.
very nice.
That's awesome.
I'm glad to have that tie, and thank you for sharing that. I'll have to look him up. And it is a very wholesome show. It's one of my favorite
we should
things.
start watching it again. I think we
So
haven't
good.
watched the most recent season or two.
It's been good.
Yeah, I didn't like it when they changed out Mary. I mean,
I know.
it was still fun, but then they changed out some of the comics and other things too. And I'm like, I like the old ones, but the new ones are good too.
I'm with you. I liked Mary, and I definitely liked the two ladies that were there. They were pretty hilarious.
All right, so we talked a little bit about where the module and story is going. For that big battle, what are you guys expecting as players? Like, are you wanting to move? Are we wanting to do like some kind of crazy Warhammer 40K game where we're moving big troops around? Are we wanting to just story tell through that part a little bit?
What, the fight at the end with Tiamat?
Yeah, where you guys have you've secured troops from like the Lord's Alliance and the Harpers, and maybe made some deals with the giants that you knew, and convinced the Wizards of Thay to help out.
Heck, didn't we do like a clock system for one of the battles in the past, or was it maybe it was Doug?
Yeah, we did. We did something like that for the bar fight with the dragon daggers.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene. I think that could definitely be expanded into something abstract for a battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the actual battlefield, we're definitely going to want to do something more abstract. But if we're ever directly fighting Tiamat, I think that's going to be more like standard D&D combat system. if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But what do you guys think about, like, with the clock system saying, okay, well, we have this, like, my Dragonborn, for example. Maybe they join in on that and we say, okay, well, they're going to attack whatever faction, and while there's Lord's Alliance cavalry doing whatever.
Yeah, I think we can make that work. Definitely, there will be some concrete goals that will probably happen. Like, one of the things that they need to do is sacrifice thousands of souls in order to trigger the ritual.
Oh my!
So you guys could try to like rescue as many of those people as you can as part of the battle as dragons and stuff are fighting overhead. So yeah, I think we can definitely work some clock system stuff in there.
It would probably be just easier to do and more enjoyable than trying to figure out a Warhammer 40k based grid thing.
Yeah.
Where, like, if that's not already part of the module and they haven't already given you all that information, then that feels like it would be way more work for you and might not be as interesting.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, I like that. I'll make a note of that here. Similar to how we did the Dragon Dagger bar fight. Alright, Cyan Wrath and Frulam. So we hinted at the fact that Cyan Wrath got traded away for Lord Istavel. And he went and resurrected Frulam. And I could see them going one of a few different ways. Like, they could get rid of this whole... They could quit the cult and just go off into the sunset. They could rejoin the cult and really have a big bone to pick with the Defiant Dawn here. What else? They could maybe... Cyan Wrath wants to quit the cult, but Frulam wants to join the cult. So they go their separate ways, and Cyan Wrath is just a broken, shattered shadow of his former self. But potentially redeemable to a good guy ally.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, that's horrible.
It's a very powerful story beat.
Yeah.
It just depends on what direction we collectively want the story to go.
Yeah.
And I think they're all interesting. I think, generally speaking, we have destroyed more of our enemies than spared, as indicated by the spreadsheet type thingy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, as a player, feel the need to just trounce every single enemy into the ground. That's mostly just been based on what they've offered us, you know? So if we have a character that we've defeated and spared once, it could be a good representation of, you know, our success and, you know, potentially redeeming somebody. But that doesn't mean it has to automatically happen, you know? Maybe it's something that we still have to work towards. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I like the idea of maybe Cyanrath possibly becoming another NPC to help us out with our clocks.
So turning Cyanrath over to a good guy?
Yeah. Or maybe just like a general anti-hero, maybe. Not necessarily a good guy.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I don't know how the magic would have, corrupted him, or if it made him a more evil character, with the whole transformation thing. And if it doesn't feel genuine, I don't want him to just, completely flip immediately and be an ally. So I think being an anti-hero that might do things that benefit us but isn't necessarily strictly on our side is also interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he might be an ally like Nikolai, so we can pay him to do stuff, but he won't do stuff for free, basically.
Oh, we could introduce those two to each other.
Gonna make our next BBEG team.
I don't think... Yeah, no.
I like that idea, Horace.
No.
That's a good idea.
It's really not, actually.
I think I like the idea of him being at least a sometimes ally, still / rival.
Yeah.
So that, maybe he does things to try to show us up or to, redeem himself rather than doing good for good's sake.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like it would be a lot. Like, I could see this story arc going like a million different directions because so much stuff has happened to this guy, right? Like, he was super successful in Green Est. Then you guys trounced and shattered the army at Burdusk.
Yeah.
And captured him. And the cult just left him there to rot.
Yeah.
It wasn't until they had also captured Istavel when like the good guy said, "Hey, we'll trade you Cyanrath for this other guy." And they're like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds like a good deal." But the cult completely abandoned him, and he gave pretty much everything to them. So he could definitely flip on wanting to attack and defeat those, start working against the cult, especially if he went to all the trouble to resurrect Frulam, and he's like, "Hey, let's quit. Let's get away from this cult nonsense." And she's just like a diehard crazy fanatic and just completely turns on him and says, "Get the hell away from me. What are you talking about? I thought you were dedicated. I thought you knew what this was all about." So I could see all those dominoes kind of falling into place and causing him to turn on the cult without much work from the party. He could just start opposing them.
So one thing that now occurs to me, and I don't know exactly where I want to go with this, but he could somehow fit into the structure of the new mercenary company. Like if he is sort of being won over to our side, that gives him an opportunity to still sort of act as an independent agent. He's an experienced, battlefield leader and tactician. He can command.
Maybe that's Ugg's role, is to kind of look over him and be kind of his parole officer while they're both in the mercenary company.
That is a duo that I very much like. I feel like Ugg and Cyanrath would become buddies.
I'm getting like a Ronin samurai warrior vibe going.
Yeah.
Keep in
cool.
mind, though, that he still thinks that Ugg was the one that killed Frulam, not Yuri.
That's even more compelling.
Perfect.
Man.
You just sold me on it even harder.
Yeah. That's a juicy side story there.
I really like that.
I picture them having like a heart-to-heart, like months down the line. It's like, yeah, and you killed. I forgive you for killing. It's like, what? I didn't do that. That was Yuri. It's like, what?
The truth comes out.
He's been harboring this hatred for the wrong person all this time.
I feel like I don't think it ever actually came up in conversation, and I don't think Yuri ever tried to evade the question.
Yeah.
And might have even tried to take credit for it at one point, but it was either overlooked or he wasn't heard or he was like at the back of the fight because he got trounced by Cyanrath. He got kicked off the side.
Yeah, what happened was Ugg had Frulam's like stylized halberd.
Uh-huh.
And then Cyanrath was like yelling at him from the parapets of the wall, shot lightning at him, and saw that, hey, he's got my girl's halberd. And when he asked what happened to her, where is she, Ugg just said, I killed her. just to piss him off, really.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know. After that point, it was just like an epic fight on the walls, and I just don't think it ever came back out in the interview, because it just seemed obvious that was the truth, even though it wasn't.
I don't know. I can't remember if this actually happened, so I'll have to go back and watch the video. But my brain is telling me that I thought when I jumped up onto the wall, Yuri might have then tried to like correct him and take credit for it before he was immediately kicked back down and out of the fight again.
Yes, that did happen. That did happen. I remember that.
Nice.
So I definitely got kicked and fell. I just can't remember if I actually tried to take credit for defeating Frulam or not.
Right.
So regardless, I think it's a really cool story beat. But if he is involved with the mercenary company as a lieutenant, or even the de facto leader when Yuri's not around, it could give him more of a gray area to work within as a mercenary anyway. So he doesn't have to be like a white knight character.
Yeah, you two had a very kind of a similar upbringing, but just went in opposite directions. Like, you were both under tyrannical leaders, and you directly opposed those people, whereas he just said, I'll work with these people so that when I'm in charge, then it won't be so bad.
And I think that's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely a lawful evil alignment. But that's something that can be changed, and I don't think people are just always beholden to their alignments all the time, can't vary at all. I think Cyanrath changing and growing is a really cool story arc.
Lawful Evil can definitely still do good. Being an evil character just means they're inherently selfish and usually looking out for their own interests before someone else. Yep. And lawful means they have a code of conduct. It might be twisted, it might not make sense to the average person, but they have a codified set of rules that they will work within. So a lawful evil character could definitely still find a niche doing things that benefit the common good, but for selfish reasons even. Or he could be lawful neutral, and then he doesn't have maybe he's lost the inherent need to be self-serving and his humbling, so now he's more about trying to do things that are at least helping others as well as him.
Yeah, he's seen how like having evil friends isn't good for the long game. The having good friends is having good neighbors instead of having evil neighbors is a lot better.
Right.
All right. Let's skip Talus the White for now. Do we have any plans for the castle right now? I picture it's just kind of parked somewhat nearby with the clouds going, so people don't know there's a big giant castle out there. Karen had said, somewhat jokingly, maybe serious, that she and Gulliver were going to live in the castle, because screw living in this mansion that could get attacked by the dragon cult.
She might have been serious, but I'll let Allie weigh in on that at a different time. The only thing I'd brought up was potentially using the castle as a vehicle for helping to start the mercenary group, but that could have also already happened, and now it's back to more of a neutral position.
Right.
But I think we probably just want to at least keep it safe and not have it taken back immediately, so we have somewhere we can go back to.
Yep. One thing that's definitely on the table is you could hand that over to the Frost Giants and Cloud Giants, and they would become allies that you could call on in the upcoming fight. But you could also keep a flying castle, because a flying castle is super cool.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
That's probably where I'd be at if I was the player. Be like, another set of troops for the army. I'd rather have a flying castle.
Yeah, it's just narratively cool to have a flying castle, even if it doesn't give us a mechanical bonus.
Yep.
I agree.
And we could always have a cool idea that uses it later. Who knows?
A mobile base of operations for the mercenary company is pretty badass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
Once we've grown, like, we could have basically a private army that you can literally fly anywhere in the world and just deploy. So I like that conceptually.
Wait, how good is Tiamat at dodging things?
God.
You gonna land the castle on her?
What if we just, in the battle, we disguise the castle somehow and then suddenly just drove it right into her? And how much damage would that do?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
I feel like she's too fast to be caught by that normally, so if we could slow her down, pin her down, or maybe even, like you said, disguise the castle as something that, she wouldn't suspect as much, or a combination of all of those.
If Yuri could somehow grapple her, like grow a size category bigger and shrink her down a size category and then wrestle her and hold her down while someone else crashes a castle into you too.
Yeah, I mean, that would be probably the best way for Yuri to ever go out.
Oh god, I don't want Yuri to die.
Listen, it's going to be the penultimate climax of the story. Yuri's entire goal in existence is to be a beacon of, glory to others. So if his story ends with him helping cause the death of Tiamat, and he is the sole casualty of that, and he gets to be the casualty hero for all time, then he'd probably be happy about that.
In front of all these other factions and armies that are helping us. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So how'd you die? I got run over by a cart. How about you? I had Tiamat in a chokehold and a flying castle fell on me. It's just kind of what I do.
Wednesday.
Just an average day,
The gods chose to put my image in the stars, and now I'm a constellation, and they're minor deities. Really, anyone could have done it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's awesome. Take an inspiration, Doug.
I don't know where he is or who he's talking to about this.
It's like in the afterlife.
Sitting next to Bahamut, in the clouds.
It would be funny if we resurrected Yuri but didn't tell anyone. So Yuri was like secretly on vacation in the summer home, and he got to hear everyone talking about him and all that.
Oh man,
that would also be pretty cool.
Tearing up. Lands for the castle.
Your notes just like flying castle Yuri.
Mobile base for the Defiant Dawn. Cool. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and it's about the time that Horace said he had to bail. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any necessary business?
I think I got one more thing, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'd like to propose getting the skulls off of that staff of withering.
Releasing sun color from the staff of withering.
Yeah.
Seems like a good thing to do.
So you've spent your downtime action for last time. We can talk about how you're going to put some effort towards it this time. And this can be your downtime activity for after we're back.
Cool.
So how are you wanting to go about that? So, story for those of you new to the stream: Farbleck Spattergoo, a crazy OP bullywug that was super large, and a shaman and necromancer / weird mishmash of spellcasting abilities had created this Staff of Withering, and one of the skulls that was on it was the shaman of Cobus's tribe, the Scalewort. What were they? Not Scalewort. Swamp Scale tribe. And so his skull was part of it, and then Cobus wanted to take that off. I'm like, well, you can, but it will break the Staff of Withering. You can get it off of there through some shamanistic, druidic, magic ritual stuff. You just have to put some effort towards that, and then you can still keep the Staff of Withering intact. But basically, that's part of what's giving the staff its power. So, how would you like to go about doing that?
So I want to gather like the tribal elders of the Dragonborn that are kind of the magic users of the group, and just do like a little circle of rituals, joining in with them, having the staff in the middle of the circle, and trying to do our best to give peace to their spirits of the skulls, and removing any evil energies that are associated with that staff.
Right.
And so they can get a proper burial.
And what kind of role were you thinking this would be?
Arcana, maybe?
Arcana?
Since he's dealing with a magic item?
Yeah, I think so.
I could see Arcana, I could see Nature, I could see... I'm not looking at a character sheet.
Maybe. How about Religion?
Religion would be fine. What's your bonus to that?
It's 5.
Okay. Doing a group thing like this, I think I'd give you advantage on the roll. The people that you're tagging a resource that definitely owes their allegiance to you and all that fun stuff. So including another NPC in this is cool. I think this is pretty tough, but not crazy hard. I was thinking DC 13.
Alrighty. I'll go ahead and use inspiration for this.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Nat 20, so very good. All right, so a failure, you beat it, you succeeded by 5, succeeded by 10, and you got a crit. So you have one section remaining. This was a 6-section clock. One thing that you can do is you can spend one of those coins you just made to just finish that up, or you can wait until after the next big session to put some more effort into it.
I would say let's wait.
Okay.
Sure, you can spend the coin. I'm cool with it. If knock it out in one, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that we can come up with something to finish off that last notch.
Yep, and you're going to, depending on how things go, you might have access to some more coin after this next adventure, depending on how things go.
Right. Besides, there's a looming black dragon over the castle and other stuff.
Yep. That's cool. So we'll say doop. Cobus roll nat 20 on caller. So what was the roll? 25, you said?
25. Not 20.
25 versus 13. Yep. So 5 ticks.
Kaylee, I'm loving this bird sandwich. That is hilarious.
Not for the bird.
All right. Any other last minute business?
That's it for me.
Cool.
I don't think I had anything there.
Yep, doesn't for me.
Yeah, I think we covered everything that I was interested in discussing.
All right. Still like to do the little post-mortem, things that you like, things that you don't like about the session, so I can improve as a game master. Did anything stand out as like, yeah, I definitely like that. Do that again, or quit doing that act. That's boring and dumb.
I like how we had an outline of stuff to talk about. We weren't just jumping in blindly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really kept things organized. I also like, since even though we didn't have a lot of people here, we still just took care of some side business that we had to take care of, which I think is going to be pretty advantageous in the future, because we're going to be a lot more clear and organized on this stuff. So I think having a shorter session, even when not all the people are here, was a pretty good idea, because I feel like we got a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, I liked having the time to dedicate towards some of the side stuff instead of just like trying to squeeze it in the last 5-10 minutes or something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's nice to have both a bulleted list of things to go over and the opportunity to shine a spotlight on some of the other things that are happening in the world, without feeling like we're taking away time from the main event, or there might be people watching the stream who aren't quite as interested in maybe the bookkeeping end of things, or talking about the quote unquote less exciting bits. But I really like the narrative aspect of talking about what's happening in the greater story and what's happening off screen that our characters don't see, and still having a hand in that as a player. So I really like sessions like this, just being lower intensity and being more conversational.
Yeah, this was a good day for it. This was nice.
Yeah, I could honestly do with one of these light sessions every now and then, only because just recently had come back from vacation. There we go. I was typing it to Edgar, and he already preemptively answered the question I hadn't asked yet. But yeah, so just relaxing, coming back from vacation and decompressing from that. My cat is sick right now, and he's just kind of moping around and being all sluggish and not eating. So that's kind of on my mind too. But Edgar says that he liked my willingness to explain some of my house rules and variant. Helps me follow what's going on. Yeah, happy to do that. I've played a lot of different systems and stolen a bunch from a lot of different places, but Blades in the Dark I feel like should be required reading for game masters. It's one of my favorite systems, and has some really cool mechanics to it. And I can tell you more about some of their stuff. They have a really cool flashback mechanic where it's basically a heist simulator, a movie heist simulator, where you don't do all this planning for things that may or may not happen. You just jump into the action, and when a problem comes up, you can spend some of that stress mechanic as a flashback to say, hey, these guards that are coming around the corner, actually, before the session started, before we got here, I actually paid a couple of street rats to create a distraction so we could go past them. So the street rats go and set fire to a building or something. Yeah, the cool part about it is like it's just action forward, so you don't worry about the planning. You plan for only the situations that you have, like as a, because the the plan, like you might do hours and hours worth of planning in a Shadowrun game, but it just all falls apart in the first 5 minutes anyways. Because you plan for all these guys that were potentially in this room, but that room's empty. And you might spend 30 minutes on a problem that doesn't even exist. So it's really neat that it's always just action, action, action. And the players feel clever because they can solve problems with by just spending some of that special resource to do a flashback and say, hey, and this is how we got around this stuff, or this is how we made this encounter a little bit easier because now gas is getting piped into the ventilation system or whatever. So.
It is narratively very cool, and at the end of the day, it helps it feel more like a pre-constructed narrative. Like you have a tight, solid story that could read as like a movie heist because you have the ability to just intricately tie things together with those beats as you use the flashbacks, which is something that I don't feel like any system I've ever played does in the same way or as well.
Oh yeah, Edgar says the plan failing apart is half the fun. Absolutely, and you can do a little bit of planning and go up, but the plan falling apart is guaranteed to happen. Because that's what I mean. If everything was smooth, then we would just roll one die and say, "Yep," and this is the loot that we got from it. This is how well it went. But we role play this.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, part of the fun is that because you spend no time planning in advance, you usually have a very superficial idea of the obstacles that you're going to run up against, too. So as players, you still have that aspect of planning in the moment where you're like, okay, well, do we do a flashback? Or, like, how's this going to affect things going forward and all that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty neat. If you can... I think John Harper had quite a few of their sessions while they were inventing the system and coming out with the rules, and I watched all of those. It was really cool to watch the game kind of evolve a little bit.
It sounds like a really good system, but I'm wondering if that ever breaks the flow of the role play. Like if people have to talk about, well, do we want to use a flashback? Do we not want to use a flashback and stuff like that? Do you have any personal experience with that?
I think sometimes, yeah, like it can get to where you're talking about kind of the meta game of, do we want to spend the stress now or save the stress for later? But I think for the most part, it's just a very elegant system that just has a lot of neat mechanics all tied together kind of seamlessly and streamlined. Yeah, absolutely, Edgar. I'll tell you stories sometime about a cool Star Wars game that where we were being rebel jerks, pissing in the Empire's Wheaties. But that's a story for another day. I think I'm also going to show the Defiant Dawn scene, since I think Edgar's kind of new to the channel. I'm not sure if he's seen that yet. I just thought it was really cool. Something that me, my wife, and my daughter all worked as like a little cutscene intro for it. It's for the members of the Defiant Dawn that were here before in Horde of the Dragon Queen. So some NPCs have changed and some new ones have joined, or some PCs have changed and some new ones have joined up. But here, have a look at this. I think it's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
There we go. It took a way more effort than I thought it would. But I think that's where we're going to call it here. And yeah, thanks for joining, Edgar. Had fun talking to you, and had fun playing today. So I think that's where we'll call it. Edgar, since I think you're my only viewer today, I don't think I'll bother with a raid. Oh, nice. Oh, you're an old timey listener. He started me when HBS. He started watching me when HBS BattleTech launched.
Hey.
So welcome back. I'm doing this every other week, and just some Blood Bowl, maybe some BattleTech or some MechWarrior 5 on Mondays and Wednesdays nights, and on the off weeks of Saturday night. So feel free to come back anytime. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.